Welcome back to Business on City News 570, powered by Cowan Insurance, and joined again by our good friend, Adam Veldpaus. He, of course, is an account executive, commercial account executive at Cowan Insurance Group. And Gregory, an issue that we talk about often, and we don't have to go any much further than, although I guess it wasn't cybersecurity, but we know how impactful it is when things like a little thing called the internet goes down for a couple of days. We experienced with Rogers a few weeks ago, cyber protection, protecting your data, all hugely important.
Well, and the jury's still out on what that really was that did that disruption to our radio show. But nonetheless, we even have businesses talking about, we get emails all the time, and we all now are becoming very familiar, Adam, with the fact that maybe this email is some sort of cyber scam. We don't know. But, nonetheless, we've got to talk about some really important ones that are really important for you to discuss with your insurance broker on your commercial policy to make sure that you've got coverage. So let's talk about two of those really high risk areas for cybersecurity.
Perfect. Thank you. So the two most common areas right now that people are experiencing outside of last week's events, cyber extortion, or also referred to as ransomware, and social engineering coverage or social engineering fraud. These two are predominantly driving the losses in the industry at the moment, and they are what affects most businesses that we speak of. Just to quickly touch on what those things are, cyber extortion and ransomware. It's just a crime involving an attack or threat of an attack coupled with a demand for money or some other response in return for stopping or remediating the attack. Commonly, bad actors can potentially gain access to your computer system and lock you out of them unless you agree to pay them to stop. So, it's traditional extortion with a new age twist. And social engineering, this one I like to just refer to as it's the original con man job, just again, into the digital age. And social engineer, it's just a crime whereby a third party tricks you into voluntarily releasing your assets to them, which they weren't entitled to. So, one of the examples is a third party forwarding notice to your business that you need to update their banking information as it's changed. Simple, easy. Why would anybody try to trick me to do this? Well, it's easy. The business proceeds to honor the request and change the information, then proceeds to transfer the payment. Only problem is the legitimate third party never made the request. So you just sent your money to some impersonator. Now you're out the money. They have the money. Maybe you can help it get back from the bank, or, ultimately maybe you have insurance that can help you get it. But you've been defrauded, your money is gone, and you still now also owe that original vendor the money. So you're behind the eight ball again.
Yeah. Well, I think these are the things, Adam, we've talked about before, and I think certainly Cowan's a leader in having actual cybersecurity insurance policies, because it's becoming more and more prevalent, and social engineering is just probably another version of that, if you will. But paying attention to these things, because so much of our work, we get phishing emails, we get all of these sorts of things. Really important to pay attention to these things. Have your folks like Cowan and others that can come in and train up your staff, but be prepared with the programs and insurance policies that can protect you so it doesn't buckle your knees when it happens. Because I think maybe the last thing, Adam, is I think it's not a question of if you're going to get probed or attacked by someone. It's a question of when and how you deal with it. And I think this is why it's always great to have you with us.
Perfect. Thank you. And that's exactly it. It's not if, but when. And, ultimately knowing what your exposure is and being able to have a plan in place for when does happen is key to the ending of the day.
Yeah. All right. We've been joined by our good friend, Adam Veldpaus. He's a commercial account executive at Cowan Insurance Group.